and rain. Eyes are a fire, a flame.
Welcome to my podcast, Luna. Everyone, this is Luna Leverett. She is my client, and I heard her story, and I felt like she needed to come on the show and talk to us because, like many of us, she has late diagnosed ADHD. So we bonded over that, and I would love to share her story. So, Luna, thank you for coming, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am midlife, really feeling it. 53. I call myself a recovering middle school teacher, and I raised my kids that are now 18 and 19. So just getting ready to launch. Been married 25 years, native Californian, love being here.
No, tell me why you're so passionate about. She told me she is calling herself an executive functioning coach, which is super helpful. We all need that. And so that's kind of like your new thing that you're doing, right? So tell us a little bit about that and why. Or should you tell your story first and then tell us why you did it?
No, I can start with that.
Okay.
When I left teaching, I started doing what I really love, which is public speaking. And that was great until COVID hit. People didn't, really watching large groups at that point. I did some stuff virtually, but I was also going to grad school. And because my summer trip to Israel was canceled because of COVID, I was like, well, I need to get my units somehow. So I started taking coaching classes and I fell in love. And I think they really complement speaking, where I get up and I teach things and get you inspired to do things, but then you leave and you go, but I don't know how to, and, would you hold my hand or, and so the coaching really came into play. And then I started coaching specifically students that have executive function skills challenges. Yes. So that includes ADHD people, but there are people who have executive function challenges that aren't diagnosed ADHD. So the best explanation that I've heard is you have an orchestra and everyone knows how to play their individual instruments, but it's the conductor that kind of keeps everybody in line and signals the time and keeps it all organized. Well, people with executive functions challenges don't have that orchestra, or the conductor is not great. Okay. So you can have intelligence, you can have, your stuff, but you're late to things and you can't keep track of your keys and that makes you late to things. And it's been so eye-opening to see how we are affected by executive function challenges. And so I've specialized in that with helping people to make and reach their goals.
That's awesome. That's a very good example. Makes total sense. So tell us about your little story and why this all makes sense.
It's like, do I start with the symptoms or do I start with the labels that were given to me as a kid?
I don't know.
So let's start with the labels because that's what came first. And then we can go into the explanation of what that really means for a person with ADHD. So my earliest memory, I was probably 3. And this was 1973. So things were different. We could just go out with our older siblings, who was 6, 7, and a group of us would go to the park. We lived in a condominium, and for my birthday, I had received a tricycle. And so I took that little tricycle on down to the park and got out and went to the park thing and did our things. I don't know how long we were there, but then I went home without my bike. My mom was not happy. And so that's like my first memory of shame that goes with
forgetfulness. Or
yeah. Like and, I'm so forgetful even now. It's not something that goes away. And you just come up with systems, to help things be easier for your brain to do what it needs to do. So that was the first like shameful moment with my best friend in kindergarten through third grade. I look back now and I realize the mom's nickname for me was Dingbat.
God.
Right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I know looking back on things, adults were just rude. And so, yeah, I was a dingbat. And only as an adult, I look back and I go, oh, she saw something going on there. Let's see, report cards where teachers have to get their meaning across in a professional way. I heard things like very social. So I talk a lot. And now I'm a professional speaker. So that works.
Perfect.
Let's see, would do well if she applied herself. Disorganized. My desk was always a mess. My backpack was always a mess. My room was always a mess. All of it. So my family nickname for me sometimes was Pigpen.
Okay.
Because everything was meh.
Yeah.
I also got very sensitive and over dramatic. So when you look at the terms that describe especially female ADHD, I feel like there's a reason we've fallen through the cracks for so long.
Sure, yeah.
Because when it first was a thing, everyone really focused on the hyper. And so that's the ADHD. And that's why in the past we've called it also ADD, because some of us don't have the hyper. They've changed the diagnosis on things. Everyone who qualifies gets labeled ADHD. But now there's different categories under ADHD.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. People can be a little bit of this, a little bit of this. They have scores.
Yes.
Or something.
And so, you know, when I tell people I'm ADHD and they're like, well, you can sit down and binge watch TV for days. So I don't see the hyper coming out there. Well, I've learned that in females, it shows up a little differently. So cries easily.
Yeah.
Daydreaming. So my second child, who was assigned a female at birth, the teacher would complain that he was staring off into space and was having trouble coming back. And so the solution was to stick him up in the front, right under the whiteboard, so nothing could distract. But your brain can distract you plenty. It doesn't have to be outside stimulus. So the daydreaming, that kind of going off into space. Space cadet, I think, was another name that I was called. Disorganized, messy. So that can be even how you're dressed or how your appearance looks. Sometimes it shows up in aggressiveness, which they'll, attribute to boys. But for girls, they can be aggressive, especially verbally.
Yeah.
They don't try. So the other term I was given was lazy. Low motivation, forgetful. And then I love this, hyper talkative. When I learned that the H for ADHD for a lot of girls is the very social, that talks too much. And then my firstborn was assigned male at birth, and his first grade teacher was complaining about his talking all the time. So it's really interesting. Being very emotional.
Yeah.
And this is the blurting out and the interrupting people. So it really affects not only our academic life, but our social life.
Yeah, definitely.
I've lost a lot of friends because of impulsivity and aggressiveness and yelling and emotional dysregulation. I don't think I have it down here, but that's another one. So what's really hard, especially for females or anyone who goes for a while slipping through the cracks and not being diagnosed, is you take these symptoms personally.
Yeah.
Because it was like my parents and my teachers and my friends' parents were saying, just try harder, stop acting that way. And what I've learned with the executive function skills is you can tell a kid, like if they can't see because they don't, their prescription is off and they're having trouble seeing the board and they're squinting, or they hold their books really close to their face, or they're getting things wrong. A parent can condition them to stop squinting, stop holding the book so close to your face, stop getting things wrong, but it doesn't take care of the problem.
Fix the problem. Yes.
But with some help, whether it's medication, whether it's behavioral therapy, whether it's coaching, you can help the child to be able to work better.
That's such a good example. I like that. Because it's not like a disability necessarily. You just need a little bit of help and assistance figuring things out. Because those internal shame things that we create with all the people talking to us and telling us things about ourselves, we just take it to heart and think that it's a personality defect when it's not. So that makes total sense. Yep.
So my grades were fine. The grades were fine. Like in high school, 3.50. In college, a little lower than that. But I graduated. It was a struggle.
Yeah.
Looking back, I've read my college journals, and it was just a few years ago that I read them. And I'm like, oh, baby girl, you are beating yourself up every day for, why do I keep doing this? Why do I put off everything until finals? Why do I end up pulling all-nighters to get a paper written? Why, like I would, it was really bad when I would clean my room.
Instead of studying, instead of writing that paper you need to do. I still do that.
Right?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. But reading these journals, I was able to go, oh, this was all ADHD.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you poor kid. And so when I was 25, I went back to school to get my teaching credential. I was taking a night class and our light rail stopped right by a Starbucks, 1995. Like what is this? And I started ordering mocha Valencias. Starbucks, if you're listening, bring back the mocha Valencias. I know there's a whole group of us that really, really miss that.
I never had that.
Oh,
sounds good.
Well, and not only does it taste amazing, it's orange and chocolate.
Oh.
But it had an extra shot of espresso automatically given in it.
There you go.
So I'm ordering a grande and not realizing I'm getting 3 shots of espresso. And I was not a coffee drinker before this. And so I would go to a 7 p.m. math class, not my favorite subject.
Me either.
And I would sit still and I would be able to pay attention to the professor, and I was getting the concepts. And I'm like,
You're like, what's happening?
The only thing that's different, because I'm a night owl, so that's fine, was this drink I was having. Caffeine, stimulant. What do they give to kids with ADHD? Adderall, Ritalin. They're stimulants. And instead of making me more awake and more hyper, like that's kind of what I was expecting, it calmed me down and gave me more focus. So that was the first time I thought, I wasn't diagnosed until I was 38.
Yeah.
And when I did go in, so this is how I kind of started connecting it then. I was taking different medications, some for, sinus infections, some for antidepressants. And I noticed a correlation between taking either pseudoepinephrine or norepinephrine.
That's exactly what my brother told me. He's like, when I take Sudafed, I can do so many things.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm going to put a checklist and I'm getting it done. And like, this is what normal people must feel like. And so I went into my doctor because the antidepressants that they originally had me on didn't have any of that in it. And I was like, hey, I think this is also helping with ADHD. And she goes, well, have you been diagnosed? And I'm like, not technically, no. And she goes, okay, well, here's,
Yeah.
you know, the way they do it for adults is they give you a survey, you know, the checkoff list of things. With children, they get a teacher's point of view. They get another person's point of view. They get like 3 different points of view on how it affects your daily life, which is really good because when you're in it,
Yeah.
that's all you know and you think this is normal.
Yeah.
So it's good to get input from outside. But as an adult, I didn't have that. And there are several things I'll share that I think are stupid myths that people say. And this one from a doctor said, well, yeah, but you're almost 40 and you've gotten this far. So you must have come up with coping mechanisms.
Okay.
I'm like, do you want to go see my house?
Oh, yeah.
And see what it looks like? Because I'm not coping very well there. It's a train wreck.
Right.
So yeah, are my kids getting fed? Sure. Yeah. Am I getting them to things on time? Yeah, sure. But, you know, do I have the most efficient life? No.
Right. It's like you're successful, but all this other stuff is a hot mess. Like that's kind of how I feel too. Somehow I've been able to make it this far, but I've struggled so hard keeping it together and my mental health and everything. Like behind the scenes, it's a mess.
Yeah.
So that's so dumb. I totally get it.
And I think for those of us who have neurodivergence, it's exhausting trying to be normal.
Yes, it really is.
People don't give us enough credit.
No, it's so hard.
Yeah. So that was when we started an antidepressant that had the norepinephrine in it. And I was like, I will take this every day of my life for the rest of my life. But it only worked for 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that metabolizing of things and finding what works. Like I tried Ritalin, I tried Adderall. Those hurt. They give me headaches. I don't like it. And I didn't feel that focus. But the epinephrine stuff helped for a while. And it was great. And the morning you go through thinking, this was all I needed all those years.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine.
Yeah.
You're just like pissed probably. And like, I could have been so much better and done so many more things. Yeah. I think about that too for a lot of different things. Yeah. Even though I've not been officially diagnosed yet, it's difficult to get diagnosed. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, I could have been literally a millionaire by now or something. Like, oh, God, so many things I could have done better.
Yeah.
But if somebody had just noticed and we had just known.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So even being unmedicated now, having the understanding of what ADHD really is, not what the stereotype has been for so long. And I just think it was lack of education.
Yeah, we're coming up with a lot more knowledge and stuff. So that's really helpful.
Researching.
Yes.
Side note, I was doing research for a speech I'm giving tomorrow on sleep deprivation and coping with raising children.
Oh.
And it stemmed out of sleep deprivation affecting your executive function skills. So sleep deprived people have the symptoms of ADHD. And well, some of them. And so I'm doing research and I want to get real research. I don't just Wikipedia things, although I love Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I say that for celebrities and historical figures. But so I'm looking at this journal study of executive function skills being affected by sleep deprivation. But as I dig into it, it was done on a group of 24, not a big pool. All were male. And they just kept half of the group to a regular sleep schedule and the other half up for 24 hours. And I'm like, can we talk about 2 years?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more. So back to the ADHD research, so much of it was just done on boys.
Yeah.
That there are gaps in our understanding of it, but we're starting to close it. And that's why diagnosis criteria has changed.
Did you have problems sleeping your whole life too?
Oh, yes. Even before having children, although the children completely messed me up.
Make that worse.
and I think a lot of it is genetic. I see my mom struggling with it as well. I see my kids struggling with it. And so some of my theories that I had about why I struggle with it may or may not be true, but I definitely am hypervigilant, always wanting, to make sure everything's okay, and always wanting to just be asleep enough that I could wake up if
the kids need you, or the house is on fire or something. Yeah. But
now they're 18 and 19, and I'm letting go of that stuff. But I've also trial and error with my doctor found medication that works.
Oh, good.
And so this last Monday, for the first time, I had 8 hours of sleep in a row.
Wow.
And I've continued that pattern
that's amazing.
For most of the week, not the whole time, but it's night and day. When you find something that works for you, you're like, oh, human again.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yep. So I grew up thinking I wasn't smart. I still have those thoughts.
Yeah.
My friends were, in the higher classes. Some of them qualified for GATE. I met my best friend freshman year in high school in a boring, regular old earth science class. And so only recently did I say, wait a minute, why were you in that class? Because you were in the higher history class with all my friends. You were in the higher, everything. And so we wouldn't have had any classes together, but you were in that science class. And he said, yeah, my parents decided not to put me into accelerated for everything. And so that was the one easy class.
Oh, gosh. Poor guy.
Well, that's how we met. So yay.
That's funny.
But it made me feel like, oh, again, because I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
But it's not true. I mean, I've had plenty of things to show me that, you're intelligent, but things get in the way of showing that.
Oh, I've had that so much in my life too. I literally thought it was so stupid, but I was also homeschooled and had a lot of issues from that, and probably a mother who has ADHD, and then 2 other children in the family who also have ADHD, and I'm the oldest girl, so like there was just all these things. It's just I just felt so dumb.
Yep.
And all of my other homeschool friends also felt the same way. Not just ADHD related, but some of that's homeschool related. So,
right.
But
right.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways you can go about the philosophy of homeschooling.
Yep.
And if you're not, being type A and following what's required in the regular schools, then you can start to, there's so many different ways.
Yep.
So yes, I've homeschooled my kids, and I'm sorry.
Not all homeschooling is bad. I just want to clarify for everybody who's going to yell at me.
No, I have seen other people do it so well. Now, being an ADHD mom, having a high-functioning autistic kid, which I didn't know at the time either, and another ADHD kid, we all 3 have ADHD. I was not the one.
That's a really hard job. And to try to wrangle 2 other people besides yourself, like that's a lot.
Yeah. So even not homeschooling,
it's hard enough, huh?
Yeah, like being a mom with ADHD, I don't think there's enough research out there on that yet. Maybe I'll write a book, but it's just like this idea of what boss moms get done. I'm like, I'm going to have to be a just okay mom on that, but I will be fun.
Yeah.
My kids have had a lot of fun and adventures with me. And then the other thing is the sense of humor.
I would take that over anything. All that stuff sounds way more fun than having a beautifully clean, organized house and life. Nothing.
Right. So I've just embraced that that's the mom I am. And I've learned recently that the sense of humor, like a few years ago, I took a survey on personality. I forget which one it was.
Oh, there's
character. It's like character strengths.
Okay.
And my highest strength came out as humor. And that was the first time I ever saw it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Because my whole life is, why are you such a smart ass? Stop being such a smart ass.
Yep, I got that too.
And I'm like, oh, it's a positive thing having humor. Now I can see plenty of times where it was a negative thing. I had a friend who had to explain to me what sarcasm was when we were 11, because that was the trait that my friends wanted me to work on.
That you were too sarcastic?
Yes.
Yes. Man, so I've seen my niece is like that, and she's so sarcastic and funny like that. Like I'm going to guess she's probably got ADHD as well, since her dad does and everybody else does as well. But the sarcasm coming out of a little kid's mouth is hilarious. And I'm sure I was the same.
So I got rewarded for that, especially from my dad, who has ADHD. What I learned recently that really surprised me was that using humor or laughing creates dopamine.
Oh, shit. I never thought about that. That makes complete sense.
So it's self-medicating.
Oh, my God.
So I just got to find my balance between being funny and being rude.
Yeah.
And just work on that.
Yeah.
But the sense of humor. So it can be a strength, and it's also connected to dopamine, which
so interesting.
We need. So
I was definitely awkward and rude and sarcastic a lot as a teen too.
Yep.
But I was an awkward person anyway. So I was like trying to fit in, and I don't know. It was so interesting. I never thought about it that way at all, but it makes complete sense.
So now that I know, I'm still having to do healing. I'm still having to comfort that inner child who felt stupid, who felt lazy, who felt like the behavior flaws were a choice, and forgive myself, and learn from it and move on. And I love learning about executive function skills and going, okay, so that's our weak area. So what are the tips and tricks to overcome that or to strengthen that? There's no cure for ADHD.
No.
Medication can be very helpful, but there's a behavior component, and it's just building habits, trying new things, rewarding yourself, please.
Yeah.
And trying new stuff. Now, just like we have different symptoms, you could say, well, I have a friend who has ADHD, and his leg is always bouncing, and he's always fidgeting on things. My friend over here says they have ADHD, but they don't do that. It's because you just have different symptoms.
Yeah, everybody's different. There's more of the inattentive.
Yes.
And then some people have a little bit of both. And some people are just hyperactive. So
and it depends on your age.
Yeah.
It depends on how much exercise you're getting. It depends on what you're feeding yourself. There's so much that affects how much our executive function skills are challenged. One of the things that surprised me was finding out that ADHD, especially students, freaking hate planners. Hate the planners, hate the organizers. I fell in love with planning and organizing when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah, a senior planner, and it's amazing. It's like a wonderland, and it's crafty, and it's art. Oh man, I always wanted to be that kind of planner because I thought it was cool, but I tried, and I'd be like, ugh. Yeah. But I had to start using it for work because I'm a hairstylist, and I was like, I refuse to be the person who doesn't show up and forgets things. I still didn't do very good at it, but I loved my Franklin Covey one, but it was very businessy. So I like your version better, but I could never get to that.
So what do you do now to make sure those things are happening?
I have planners on my phone or calendar apps. Like literally everything's in a reminder list calendar app. And if I lose my phone, I will literally die. That's why I panic sometimes. If I lose my phone, I've had my phone stolen 4 times in the past. And I almost forgot somebody's wedding.
Oh yeah.
So like, it's scary, but now things are on the cloud and you can get it on the internet. So it's like, that's better, but I literally run my life that way. So I miss paper and pen. A lot of times I have to write things down, but it's just too much to carry around. It's too awkward.
Right.
So
you're hybrid.
Yeah, I kind of like a little bit of both. But I was forced to be, because I was never that before. So I was homeschooled. We didn't do shit. Just wake up. My mom was always trying to get us up at a certain time. I was like, nah, I don't need to. I'm not going anywhere.
What consequences are there?
I can do my homework at 3 p.m. Why does it matter? So, but I love that you fell in love with that such an early age. So you've been using a planner like that since that young?
Pretty much, like all the different ways. I don't think I've ever used the same planner twice. Nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
And I think I'm already like looking at my planner for this year and going,
well, that's the ADHD. I'm bored. I need a new planner already.
Well, I like it because the concept is you can see the month of January, and then there's shorter pages over here so you can see a whole week at one time, and then you got a place for notes over here. But that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so the spaces are a little small to write in. And
do you feel better when you see like the day instead of as far in advance?
Oh, I like seeing the month and I like seeing the week at one time. So I was trying to think, like, what if we got rid of this section over here so we can, and then I realized, well, the reason that is so long is because over here you have to have space for the month and those squares are pretty small.
Yeah.
And then you've got the beginning of the week over here. And so I don't know. There will never be a perfect planner.
No, you'll just keep all those planner companies in business. That's all.
Yeah. And there are times that I get sloppy with it, but then it's what's keeping you accountable is, for you, it's clients.
Yeah.
Instead of homework that you can do at 3:00, you've got a client that's going to be here at 8 a.m. And so that's your accountability.
Oh yeah.
For me, it's making it to meetings, making it to give a talk on time, and driving my dang kids around.
Yeah, you got to know those things.
And I want all of those things to happen. My dad, who has ADHD, you were either early or on time.
Yeah.
And with him, it was like, you got to be at the airport before 9/11.
Like 3 hours early.
3 hours early, still happening. Now we all have to do that. But, and I've heard that that's kind of a trauma response for people with ADHD who have trouble being on time. They want to so much not be that they pad it so much.
Yeah, well, I used to be like that.
Yeah.
I used to show up a lot earlier, maybe like 30 minutes max. Now I just get so distracted by my stupid Instagram and TikTok that I'm like literally exactly on time or 2 to 5 minutes late. And I hate that. I'm so mad at myself now. It's like I can't stop, but I used to be so much earlier because my dad was very on time and he hated being late and he was very type A, and my mom's all, oh, we're late and there's 5 kids and everything's happening. And we were always late. My dad was so mad. So it was all this like irritation. So I was like, ugh, I just want to be late. I mean, early. I just want to be early. And now I'm late. So sorry, clients, if you're listening, that I'm always a little late now.
Well, you've never been late with me.
Only a few minutes. For like my first client of the day. Like sometimes clients take longer and I don't always know, but gosh, so annoying. But. Yeah.
So accountability is important. And so sometimes you have to create false accountability. And that might mean, this is what I did when my kids finally started school. When I wasn't homeschooling them, I would drop them off, and my best friend and her kids also went to the same school. And so I would look at her and I'd say, I'm going to go home and I'm going to do 2 loads of laundry. So when I get back, ask me if I did 2 loads of laundry, not knowing this was a total executive functioning skill trick.
It seriously is.
Yeah.
That accountability is amazing. I have never done so well until I have accountability, which is why I did well in school, which is why I sucked at homeschool because it was my parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got like A's and B's at college, even though I thought I was the stupidest person on the planet.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there and I had deadlines and I knew, and it was all on me. And like, that is literally, I'll have to call my friend and be like, I'm going to do this thing, and then check on me later, or come help me do it. Or it really makes a difference.
Yeah. One of my favorite tricks is before and after pictures.
Yeah.
So
that's a good idea.
I've got all the clutter all the time. And so I will focus on one section. I will take a picture of what it looks like in real life. And then when I'm done with it, I'll take a picture of what it looks like.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Now, and I celebrate that. It might be just a text to a girlfriend. I might put it on Instagram. But knowing that other people are seeing those things helps me to stay accountable.
Oh, for sure. Well, and you're being vulnerable too in front of people, which is always hard to do. But yeah, for real, accountability is the best. Now that I hire people to keep me accountable over things, I'm so much more productive and better. So I can focus on other things too and not have to do stress. It's so much nicer.
Yep.
Yeah. So what else did you say that you were gonna? Are those some of your favorite tips, like the accountability, planning, and organizing?
Yep.
What
Making
else?
it fun.
Yeah.
So for me, the planner is not only functional, and I really don't get that crafty with it. There's some women that, like, because I belong to groups on social media, and they're like showing their stuff. I'm like, I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, my mom has one, and she likes to doodle in it, and the dot journal, I think, or whatever it's called, something like
Bullet
that.
journal.
Yeah, she loves that. She got me one, and I was like, I'm not a doodler.
Yeah.
Can't doodle, even though I'm an artist kind of person. I can't doodle. I can't make it look cute. And I'm like, it's just words. It's boring, but my mom says cute.
Well, and doodling is an ADHD skill,
Mm-hmm.
coping mechanism. So
Yeah, I never got that though.
right, I don't have it either. I try. I've got 3 things that I'm good at doodling, and then
Yeah, I have like
it.
a couple little things, but
Yeah.
nothing.
And then I get bored.
Yeah, exactly.
But I let students doodle, and
Uh-huh.
some teachers really had a problem with that.
Oh, when you were a teacher, you did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I knew that for people with, then this is before I knew I had ADHD,
Uh-huh.
but I knew from the classes that I took
That it helped them concentrate.
that it can help them, so they may not look like they're paying attention. And I have students that I'm coaching right now that, they say, oh yeah, my teacher gets really mad and won't let me doodle in class. And I'm like, oh, what,
Yeah.
maybe you want to share this information
Yeah.
with them. What else are my favorite things? This I'm working on. One task at a time.
What? You can't do them all at the same and start them all?
Not well.
Oh, done.
Another thing that I've given myself permission to do, it's a mindset. The metaphor I have is vacuuming.
Mm-hmm.
So when a organized person comes in and vacuums, and I remember my mom trying to teach me this, you start over here and you do the lines.
And the clean, perfect lines.
And then you do the next row, and then you got the lines, and you do the next row and you got the lines. Well,
oh God, that would make me want to kill myself.
then they invented Roombas.
Oh, they go all over the place.
And they get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what kind of mystery magic is this? They have an algorithm. I don't know what the algorithm is. Not my job to know. But I do know that when I turn on a Roomba, it vacuums my floor, it gets it done, and then it's all good. So I've used that metaphor for how I get things done. And I have to point it out to my family sometimes. God bless my husband. He does not have ADHD.
Does not understand you is what you're saying.
He thinks he has some ADHD traits, but I'm like, honey, see how the 3 of us over here are communicating and handling things, and it's messy, and you're not.
Sorry, you're not in our cool group, but
you might have some traits. So yeah, just the other day, I was working on putting my desk together. I moved it to a new spot. And I bought some organizers, and so I decided some of them aren't going to work for the desk. I moved them over to the bathroom, I have a drawer open, everything's out, wiped like down the thing, da-da-da. So at this point, I have like 3 things started, and it looks ridiculous. But the Roomba goes from one thing, goes to another, bounces off that, goes to another, but eventually
it gets done.
Given enough time and getting obstacles out of the way, we can get things done. It just doesn't leave those perfect little lines.
And that just makes some people absolutely crazy.
And they can
kick rocks.
Yeah. Well, if you want to come to my house and do the little lines.
Yeah, you do. I like it when people do it. I think that's beautiful. And I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But I can't. So
but a Roomba gets it done.
It does.
And we can get things done.
I like that. That's a good analogy for our brains. A Roomba. That's hilarious. I'm always breaking down. I think that's also an analogy for my life.
But so many metaphors that can go wrong with that. Like seriously. You see the videos when it runs over dog poop.
Yeah. For real. That's also like my life sometimes. But,
right. Yep.
Oh my God.
A lot of metaphors.
Yeah.
I think just learning what executive function skills are.
Yeah.
And going, oh, that's the connection. So some people have trouble with change or trouble with transitions.
Yes.
And teaching them to use flexible thinking. Like, okay, that was plan A and that didn't work. what's a plan B?
Mm-hmm.
What's a plan C? What's a plan D? You know,
Yeah.
they get you flexible and trying other things. But yeah, there were a lot of things about executive function skills that I did not know before I started studying it. And now I'm making all these connections where I'm going, oh, well, that's why I had trouble with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm aware of it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I can try skills to accommodate.
Yeah. So what kind of things have you researched, or what would you suggest for people to look up executive functioning skills that might help them kind of, I don't know if you have resources that you would recommend or something to help people out with if they're newly figuring this out and they're just like all over the place, like I need more help with that kind of stuff myself. So I don't know. I'm part of me is like, what do I even research? I'm not sure.
You know what? I wish I had the name, but I can send it to you. You can put it in the notes.
Okay.
There's a great YouTube channel that's about ADHD by ADHD. Because my biggest problem I've had in all of these years is you go to read an ADHD book.
And it's by like a scientist or somebody boring and they don't, it's very scientific. Kind of
neuro, what do they call neurotypical.
Yeah.
You don't get it. Like you maybe researched it and digested it and put it out there. But you can't just look at me and say, use a planner. You don't know.
Yeah.
So finding resources have been, it's just like the TED Talk I did on adult growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like here we are teaching these younger generations, you need to have a growth mindset. We were never taught that. And now we're the ones having to teach that. And I'm cracking up going, could you adult it for me?
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's why I did that. Well, ADHD books and resources, it's the same thing where it just feels like so many resources are written by neurotypical people. I'm starting to see more that are coming out that are written by neurodivergent people. They have to have editors. They have to have people to keep them, organized, and they have to have accountability. And so I think it's harder to put out an ADHD book when you have ADHD. The other thing that I thought was funny was going to the library to check out ADHD books. They all were late. There was like none of them were available because people hadn't turned them in. But if you look up OCD books, OCD books were there.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So anyway, there's a YouTube channel that's shorter clips. Like, please don't come at me with your education. That's
17 hours long.
An hour lecture. Yeah. So yeah, I'll send that to you.
That would be helpful because I've noticed too, like reading certain things, I'm like bored out of my mind. And it was while you were talking about that, I was thinking before I started getting into like fitness, I had some trainers in the past, and I had this trainer who was not exactly in shape, and I was like kind of irritated by it. And then I was like, why do I want a fat trainer? I'm trying not to be fat. And then later I've started to learn about fitness and accepting my body and all these things, right? And how it's important to have representation.
Yes.
Because we can't just be looking at everybody as like they have arrived and that's where I'm trying to get to. We want to walk alongside somebody at the same time who's also working on it. Like nobody wants to be next to somebody who's perfect. So same thing with this. And so now then I got my personal training certification. I'm like, nobody's going to come to me because I'm chubby, but also I'm also really strong, but then I'm working on things. And so it makes total sense that you would want ADHD things from somebody who has ADHD. There's no like neurotypical telling you how to do things and you're bored out of your mind kind of stuff. So I like that.
The other thing that's hard is finding stuff about executive function skills that's not geared towards children.
Oh.
So there's a great Facebook page that I follow, like Executive Function Tools, I think it's called. And it's great for teachers. It's great for parents. There are things I can glean from it that apply to my life because I'm so new on this journey. But we got to get more resources for adults who didn't get diagnosed until later. So this is all new to them.
I'm trying to decide if I actually want to get diagnosed. I go back and forth. And one of my friends, because I have Kaiser, and one of my clients is a therapist at Kaiser and was trying to help me walk through it. And I had my intake 2 times and it was kind of a mess and I didn't really know what was happening. And I thought I was getting there, but it was like, no, you didn't pass the intake. We don't think you have it. And I'm like, but I'm masking it. I don't know. I was pissed. So And then my friend went through this whole process and she filled out the paperwork, and then she sat down with an interview, and she was really upset because it was really just yes or no questions in like, what has this happened in the last week? And because she's in her 30s and she's a mom, and she's like, I've learned to max so many things, and I have a job that is like perfect for my ADHD. She's an esthetician, kind of like me. Like we thrive in this kind of environment now. So it was like sort of made sense, but it didn't. And so part of me is like, I don't even want to go through that. And I'm like, do I want medication? Maybe. I don't know. Because like some people need the medication and some people are okay not on it. But I don't know. I haven't decided. But I like the idea of learning, you know, skills and things outside of medication. And my therapist had recommended this book that I read like 2 sentences of, probably written by a neurotypical person, about mindfulness and ADHD and how there's all these studies about it. And I do like yoga and mindfulness and stuff, but some of that is just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Some people, I don't know why they can meditate or they work their way up to meditating. I can't do that. I can do it for like 5 minutes. And then my brain is still going everywhere.
Right. I think we need adaptive mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's what I learned in my, trying to take mindful yoga classes and stuff. They're like, and just let the thought come in and then let it go away like a cloud.
Mine's a little rain cloud. It's storming in there.
There's a ton of clouds going by over and over again. But accepting that, okay, this is where my brain is, but even quieting it helps.
Any little thing you could do to quiet or relax yourself, I know for myself has helped me, like doing yoga or going work out by myself or reading or like going to the hot tub and like just different spa type of relaxing things and getting a massage. All those things help me kind of calm down and focus on what's happening right now, which is the whole point of mindfulness, is just focusing on the now and not obsessing over everything else that's happening, which is how you get anxiety and stuff, right? So when I start to obsess over the other things, then I give myself a panic attack and anxiety attacks. So the mindfulness is like, let's just focus on what's the next step right now and what's in my mind right now and move on. And that's hard to do.
So the things we use to get dopamine.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
They become addictive or a distraction. And so you don't do the mindfulness because you're too busy. So my experiment so far this year, I want to start working on unplugging more.
I need to do that too.
So the thing I've done since December 1st or January 1st, and it was really easy because we were away at Disneyland, all sharing a hotel room. So I couldn't have my Audible on, listening to a story as I go to sleep. And sometimes it's beach music. It's, but that wasn't going to happen with 4 of us sharing a place. So I didn't have electronics help me to go to sleep. Yeah. And I've kept that since we got home. And I found myself now going, the medication has helped a lot too. So sleeping, we'll put that in there. But I'll lie down and I start going through all the things I'm thankful for the day. Because I found myself before, the reason I wanted noise was I kept stressing about things and beating myself up for things, or even like praying for things turns into anxiety for me.
It can.
It's like you're praying for your kid. Oh my gosh, are they ever going to do this? And are they ever going to live on their own? And are they ever going to drive? Turns into this huge thing. And so the thankfulness list,
I like that,
and falling asleep, and that's one of the habits that has been easier for me to.
I've had a lot of people talking about that actually. It's with ADHD and trauma and all these things, talking about being grateful and thankful and just taking a few minutes in the beginning of the day or the end of the day to reflect. And that is really important. I don't think we always do that. And I think that's something.
And then before you could do that, you got to quiet the electronics. Yeah. So I'm a big scroller.
Just a doom scroller, as they call it.
And I think the little indicators, the little messages are giving us dopamine. It's like, how many people liked this and how many, who responded to that. And so like the sarcasm, we get addicted to that. So if we can slow things down, I got a book. One of my books that I'm going to read this year is called Monotasking. And so it's like 12 different things to do one at a time.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. Episode 2 next year. How's the monotasking going? Okay, I love that. Okay.
So let's see. I said I would share some of the stupid things that people have said. I've already mentioned a couple. The doctor saying, yeah, but if you're getting diagnosed now, you've already used coping mechanisms, not healthy ones, but thank you. So there was my second child's teacher, the one that was like, let's go sit against the wall so you won't get distracted by what's going on around you. Said to me, I think your child is having seizures because they're staring off into space and I am having a real hard time getting them back to focus. Talk about scaring the hell out of a mom.
Oh my God.
So that's how we ended up at the doctor's office, because I kept saying they have inattentive ADHD. They have inattentive ADHD. And I know that doesn't look the same as hyper kid who's bouncing off the walls over there. And so he's not my kid's not distracting. And so he's slipping through the cracks. Yeah. Because it's not what you think stereotypical ADHD is. But that wasn't enough. So I finally went in and got the doctor's diagnosis. And and too little at the time and too under height and underweight to do medication at the time. I'm not sure if he ever ended up doing that. But yeah, please don't become a specialist and say things about people's kids when you're not a doctor. The other one was a school that my kids went to that was very not typical, right? Which is what I thought my kids really needed. Yeah. And so it was kind of rebellious in a lot of ways. And I loved the podcast that the founder of the school had and listened to it religiously. And then there was one day where he said, ADHD isn't real.
Oh, I hate those people.
And he says, I saw your kid play video games for 3 hours. He could focus. And I was like, have you never taken a special ed class in your life? How did you become an educator, a principal? It was at a private school. So, and then now start your own place and never learn about hyper-focusing. We are so good at hyper-focusing. They could focus if they just applied themselves. No, they could focus if it's interesting. Yep. And so they didn't stay at that school very long after that. I just knew. I mean, and if that's how you feel about ADHD, how do you feel about my kid who has high functioning autism? That it's his behavior is a choice. Yeah. Right. So yeah, that was a ding-a-ling thing. Less, ridiculous myths, but they're out there. My mom was a teacher. My mom did years in a special ed class. And when I said, Mom, when I was 20 something, and I said, Mom, this is what I think's going on. It was like,
for your kid or for yourself?
For me.
Well, it's hard to see your own family, I would imagine. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, how do you miss that stuff?
Right. And I think it goes back to the lack of full understanding of what ADHD is. Yeah. Especially if you've worked with extreme special ed kids. Yeah. It's like, well, you can't have it because you don't do what that kid does.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I was
so serious, right? Yeah.
So that I found interesting. And even after getting the diagnosis at 38, I got pushed back on it. Yeah. But when I told my dad that I was studying to coach students who have executive function skill challenges and comparing it to my second child, my dad just goes, tell him that's my fault.
It is genetic, supposedly. And
that was the first time my 74-year-old dad ever admitted that he had ADHD.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I describe my dad as the smartest man in the world. He read 2 newspapers a day, 2 different newspapers a day. He had the San Francisco Examiner and he had the San Jose Mercury News. And if I had any questions, just random, he had the answers. Yeah. And that was before Wikipedia. He knew so much. And he struggled with algebra, just like I struggled with algebra just like my kid.
Can die.
Yeah.
That was literally the most traumatic thing for me, math. And I don't know if it's just an ADHD thing or a homeschool thing. And I read an article about homeschooling and math the other day.
Mhm.
Plus, I have ADHD, so it was like math drama is real,
It is.
and I still get anxiety about it.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of anxiety, did you feel like you were like anxious and depressed as a child or an adult? Like, did you struggle with any of that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but not. I never attributed it to the ADHD. I depressed pretty much from 11 on,
Mm-hmm.
especially 14 was a really bad year. And
Well, you did mention depression medication, so I guess that makes sense.
right.
But, yep,
Well, the thing about the depression medication, that didn't come about until I met with, my postpartum doctor.
Oh, okay.
And they were asking questions, and I kept saying, I'm so freaking angry. I'm so angry all the time because I'm not getting enough sleep. I need more sleep. And she said, well, how about until you get more sleep, you take these antidepressants? And that's where I first got depressed, or I was, first got diagnosed with depression. But I mean, there were suicide attempts as a teen. There was a lot of that. Is it related to ADHD? Now I can look back and go, yeah, because socially I was really struggling. I lost my group of friends when I was a freshman because I guess I just irritated them too much, or wasn't maturing, and still the dumb, immature, sarcastic things that still crack me up now were cracking me up then, and they were like, nah. And then the moodiness and anxiety didn't kick in until I had children.
Okay.
And then it kicked in
big time.
Bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that's what it was. I just kept saying, when can I feel normal again? When can I stop worrying? And my dad said, you will never stop worrying. You're always a parent, no matter what. So I'm like, okay. But I'm telling you, since they both reached adulthood,
the levels are low now.
I'm letting go on a lot of stuff.
That's good.
So yeah, who knows? There's so many factors that go into,
I mean, trauma and family life, all those things definitely.
And I got it all.
Contribute. Yeah, me too.
The genetics are fascinating to see. The depression that runs in the family. The high cholesterol was also associated with the depressed people. I'm like, what's going on there?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. The ADHD, and some people in the family have it, some people don't. Yeah. Some of us have the autism spectrum going on, and a lot of us don't. So it's a whole mix, which makes it interesting.
It is interesting to like look, and when you know stuff, to look at the rest of your family or people and be like, oh, I get it. I was trying to have a conversation with my mom about something, and she said, well, I think maybe I have ADHD too, if that's what it is. And I was like, then I'm like, she said a few things. I was like, oh yeah, now that I can see it. Yep. And just trying to manage other children with ADHD and different versions. Trying to homeschool 5 kids was a lot. So like, I love my parents. They did the best that they could, the knowledge that they had. Don't agree with it, and I had a lot of trauma, but they did try. And that's a hard job. So, but golly, learning these things as an adult and trying to manage myself and being almost 40 and being like, oh my God, are you ever going to get your shit together? And I'm like, no, this is the good. I'm getting there.
Right.
Well, a little step closer. I do have to celebrate those victories. Be like, no, I did this. And that's why I think celebrating certain things that people might think are stupid is really big for me.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me going.
Yeah, no.
So
absolutely. Yeah. That's what I learned in my training.
Yeah.
And we're having a real hard time understanding it, because I think a lot of people think, well, reward, well, you can't eat a brownie every day, and you can't, buy yourself a mani-pedi. And, there's a lot. And I'm like, like, it's a pat on the back and yay me. I instilled it in my kids where they would do little things when they were doing preschool, and they would go, yay, Andy, good job, Andy. Yeah. And I'm looking at the kid like, whoa, well, you picked that up, so that's good.
Yeah, even just that verbal affirmation is important. I think I didn't have that. And so I've taken to treating myself, or whether it's with food or activities or drinking in the past a little bit too much, or dancing or attention from people. And I have gotten to the point where I realize I have some impulsive shopping things for sure.
Yep. That releases dopamine.
Yeah. And so I am trying to work on that. I go through phases where I'm good and then I'm not. And I'm in a phase where I'm like, get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
You have too much shit. You're turning into a hoarder.
Yeah.
And you don't need stupid things from TikTok shop. You need any more $5 leggings? No, you don't. But I need more leggings, you know? But I did really good this week. I just have a retreat. It's like this. I have to like stop that, but I have to like look at my goals. I'm very goal oriented. I don't know. Is that something for you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Some people are always like, well, my goal is to lose weight and blah, 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 blah. Mine are like, I have like 72 goals every year and I don't do resolutions. I have goals that I work towards. If I don't make it this year, I'm one step closer to it next year. And they do tend to stay similar, you know, patterns of things. And I don't know why. When I started doing that, it just really helped me.
Yes.
Yeah. And then to celebrate those things is very important.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I think we have been chatting for a while. We don't want everybody with ADHD to be bored by this. Do you have any last kind of like thoughts or things you want to share?
Know that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Know that it's not your fault.
Yeah.
And know that there's a community that you can work with to learn things from and support each other and give each other accountability.
Yeah.
So, you're not alone.
Yeah. We're going to put in the notes and stuff where to find you and reach out to you. But do you want to just tell some people where they can find you on the internets?
Yes, on the interwebs, Luna Leverett, Luna, like the moon, and Leverett is Leverett. And so if you go to lunaleverettcoaching.com, you'll find my webpage, and it talks a little bit about the speaking and the coaching in there and my own journey. On Instagram, it's Luna Leverett Coaching.
Okay. Easy peasy. All right. Well, we really appreciate you being on here. Maybe we can have another version 2 or episode 2 at some point of some other tips and tricks for people, because I swear everybody I know, especially now, and women are like, we're all like ADHD. We're all realizing it. And we're like, oh my God. Now what?
Yeah. And I'm still learning stuff all the time. So in 6 months, I will have different knowledge.
You'll have a whole new thing to share. So that's so great. So thank you so much for coming today to do this in my weird, awkward setup in my salon, but we did it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.